may be stronger than economists thought. That could make the Federal Reserve less likely to be cutting interest rates several times in the coming months. The Dow was down 173 points today to close at 45,947. The Nasdaq lost 113 to 22,384. The S&P 500 dropped 33 points to 6604. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm John Scott.
News and analysis at townhall.com. An attack.
On Point weather on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. We are cloudy with a 40% chance of some overnight rain. Look for a low dipping down to 70. Tomorrow, a bit cooler with a high of 84, a 60% chance we get on and off showers throughout the day and into the evening. For Saturday, well, it's very similar. A high of 81 to go with those on and off showers again. And for Sunday, a bit nicer, a blend of sunshine, probably more clouds, and the high is 82. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point. This is The Point. Make The Point.
This is Sports Talk with Phil Kornblut and Chris Bergen. Sports Talk is heard across the state on radio affiliates of the Sports Talk Media Network and is streaming live on SportsTalKSC.com, as well as Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. The South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number to call in is 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now, here are Phil and Chris with tonight's edition of Sports Talk.
And it's a big Thursday night edition of Sports Talk. Very busy show coming your way. Welcome in. Glad to have you with us. Phil Kornblut and the plumber, Josh Cohen from our studios in Columbia. Josh Bergen from the Berge Palace over in Sardis.
Josh Bergen.
Very nice.
I mean, Chris Bergen.
Combo man.
Chris Bergen from the I got Josh on the mind, Berge, because he finally broke down and admitted he's a Gamecock.
It's about time.
It took less than a month.
That's not what I'm doing. I actually, it was on clearance because it's an Under Armour shirt. So, no, I got stains all over my shirt.
He got his first test score back the other day, and now he's wearing a Gamecock shirt. He's come around. Should I tell everybody what you got on your test score?
83.
I thought it was 85.
I thought you said 85.
Yeah, you said 85.
Well,
That's
must
what
have
you
lied.
told us last night.
83?
I'm pretty sure it was an 83.
You're already flunking?
I don't know about flunking.
Holy cow. I told you he wouldn't last very long. Tell you, better hold on to this job. You're going to need it. You're going to need it. All right, coming up tonight, we got Mike Morgan with us at 6:35. Get his thoughts on what's a huge weekend of college football. A lot of great matches, SEC, ACC, around the country. Of course, South Carolina and Kentucky. We'll talk about that more in just a moment. Then in the second hour, MJ Ward will be joining us from up at Bethpage Black here on the eve of the Ryder Cup. He's been there all week. Excitement is building, and it has been a lot of fun reading about and watching the developments up there. It seems like all the participants are having a great time, poking fun at one another. The fans who've been in attendance for the practice rounds have certainly gotten in the mood. This is going to have a raucous atmosphere up there in New York, so that'll be a lot of fun.
Golf should be all the time, Phil. I wish we could transition the Ryder Cup atmosphere to every single PGA Tour event. I think it's fabulous. That's the way it ought to be.
Well, no, you don't want the Masters and you don't want the majors to have that kind of.
Why?
Because you don't.
Why?
Because
give me one good reason why you don't want the fans to be able to get involved and pull for their favorite guy and boo the other guys.
Well, I mean,
do it in every other sport.
It's fine. Yeah, but I mean, golf is different because golf is. That's boring. What makes golf different.
That's what makes it boring. See, the Ryder Cup is
not
fabulous.
boring. I mean, golf is only boring to those who can't play it at a high level. To those of us who actually have some talent on the links, we find golf to be extremely exciting.
Out on the golf course. I'm telling you,
you're on.
It's
you are. Name the time and the place.
I would take you out and
name the time, and you can bring any of your buddies from over there at the Chanticleer broadcast system, and bring them with you, and I'll put a whipping on you.
Ooh,
and I'll even give you.
You may not have. You may not
a quarter of a
to.
shot. I'll give you a quarter of a shot per hole.
Wow. So you're going to give me 8 strokes, basically?
Yeah, I'll give you 8 shots. Why not? Why not? We do have to tee it up and settle this once and for all.
And you're going to let me also bring Kyle Rush from the Chanticleer Sports Network. Kyle's like a 5'6" handicap. I'm not sure you want to mess with him.
I was thinking more about Joe Cashin, but
Joe's not a bad player either.
I know. All right, also coming up tonight, new Wofford basketball coach Kevin Giltner is going to join us at 7:05 as he's just getting on the job and organizing things and starting to build his brand new program in his own image after taking over at Wofford. And 7:35, we'll have the M&M boys with us, of course, Will Merritt and Corey Miller, who will have a lot to say as well. So that is what we have for you coming up tonight here on Sports Talk. Your phone number to reach us is 888-898-2525, South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number to reach us here on Sports Talk. And you want to send us a text message, do so, 803-900-4847. Got several text messages that we didn't get to last night. We'll get to them tonight. That's 803-900-4847. That's brought to you by Larry Lucas Insurance in Columbia and in Lexington. All right, what's on your mind tonight?
My mind?
Well, whose mind?
I'm
not asking about the plumber's mind. I don't care what's I'm afraid to ask what's on his mind. Well, I'll tell you what's on my mind. On my mind is Kentucky and South Carolina.
Okay.
And I think this is certainly a winnable game for South Carolina. They're now a 5.5-point favorite. You know, last week I took the Gamecocks and the points at Missouri. I never really gave a score. I didn't think the Gamecocks would win the game. I think I stated that last week, but I thought the spread was too much, and we just got a victory from that standpoint by taking I think it was 10.5 at that time. So that benefited the Gamecocks from that standpoint. You come out a winner if you took the points. This time the Gamecocks were favored by 5.5, and I think this will be a low-scoring, kind of a typical low-scoring game with Kentucky. Last year was atypical because the Gamecocks just totally dominated the Wildcats in Lexington. Remember, they had that great defensive effort with the defensive ends, Kennard and Stewart, having their coming out party. It was incredible what they did that night in Lexington. Nobody kind of knew what they had on defense until they unveiled it that night. That defense played great. So they don't have that right now this year, but they don't have the offense going right now either. But I think they'll have a chance, and I think what they're going to have to do against Kentucky, it's pretty simple. A pretty simple game plan here if you ask me. Throw the football. Throw the football. Kentucky's not good at defending the pass. They're not good at throwing the football right now. They've got a new quarterback. He's a big guy who's played a little bit. He's not going to be much of a runner, so maybe you can get some sacks of him. One thing Kentucky will do is run the football. So South Carolina had better fix their defense. And I would imagine, Bergie, they're going to come out, if I'm Clayton White, I'm going to come out and I'm going to just load the box. I'm going to run 3 linebackers out there. I'm going to put 7, 8 in the box and try and take the run away from Kentucky, and you want to make them throw the football. You want to make them throw the football.
I would agree. I mean, for a team that's averaging, 215 or so yards per game on the ground, and that's what Kentucky's thinking after they just watched Missouri rush for 1,000 yards against the Gamecocks last week. I'm sure that's exactly what they want to do. And so, yeah, you would think that's the game plan. Of course, on the flip side, Mark Stoops and his guys are thinking, okay, they know they've got to be better against the run. Maybe we throw it early and get our quarterback settled in a bit. I think that's going to be the key factor. They've got a guy in there who's, not their normal starter, played in their last game. And now he's going to get his first real road test coming up on Saturday night, how he'll handle that atmosphere. And Gamecock fans have got to come. I know you're all upset with the Gamecocks, and Tiger fans, you're upset with Clemson, but this is one of those games that I think Carolina fans can make a big difference because Kentucky's got a relatively new guy at quarterback, and you want to make him uncomfortable and help out that defense, which has not played well and certainly could use the crowd support.
Yeah, that's going to be the key. I mean, they have got to play the the complete game, offense, defense, special teams have to contribute. Kentucky's got pretty good special teams. Their kicker hasn't missed, and their punter's averaging about 45 yards per punt, so they're pretty good there. And I tell you, they are 2-1. Their one loss was to Ole Miss, and it was a close ball game. They played Ole Miss a tight ball game, so maybe Kentucky demands more respect than we're giving them at this particular time. And this is a pretty good personal rivalry between Mark Stoops and Shane Beamer because of the back and forth between the two of them. A little bit of a personal thing going on here with these two guys, I think, as well. So, and I think Kentucky's had 2 weeks to get ready. They were off last week. Stoops is, he's a defensive-minded guy. That's been his thing in his career. You would think they would come at South Carolina with a pretty good defensive game plan. What will they do? What will they do against South Carolina's offense, knowing what the Gamecocks have not been able to do? And that is, they will probably say, okay, if you can run it, show us. Otherwise, I don't know if they prefer zone or man, but I would imagine they're going to bring a bunch of heat on Lenoris Sellers. Maybe have a spy sitting in the middle of the field, but I would imagine they'll bring some pressure, linebackers, maybe some exotic blitzes, because they got to be thinking the Gamecocks are going to try and throw the football.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, South Carolina right now has proven it can't run the football against 7-on-7 drills. So they've got to find a way to. If you're Kentucky, you do what every other team so far, especially what Missouri did to them, and you turn them one-dimensional, and then you see what can happen. And the question is, can Lenoris Sellers handle that, and are they going to allow him to be Lenoris and get out? And you may be right. We may look back on this season, and you hit the nail on the head. They need to turn him loose and just let him throw the football because their running game is not existent without him. So just let him throw the football. Carolina's got good wide receivers, allegedly. Let's see what they can do.
And again, based on what we've seen through 3 games, this would be a team that you should be able to pick apart with the forward pass. They just have not been good defensively. I think they're giving up 258 yards through the air per game, if I'm right on my recollection of those stats that I was looking at earlier today. Just give me a second here, and I'll double-check myself on that. But I do believe that will be the way to go against Kentucky. So they are giving up – I was underselling them. They are giving up 278 yards per game through the air. So you definitely want to go at them through the air. They're giving up 137 yards on the ground, 278 through the air, 415 per game total. You definitely want to attack these guys with your quarterback throwing the football, which means
you got to be careful. They also have 4 interceptions. Their defense has been able to pick off. So when you put it up in the air, make sure it's to your guys.
Well, sure,
not the guys in blue.
But now, along with that means South Carolina receivers have got to step up. Many of them have been AOL so far this season. Where's Mazeo Bennett been?
Jared Brown.
Yeah, I
mean,
these guys. There's a bunch of them you can point to when you look at the receiving core. Now Jacobs emerged last week, and he had a big game. He's got 13 catches on the season. Harbor's got 10. Nobody else has more than 9 catches. Nobody else is in double digits in receptions. Just Jacobs and Harbor. So some of these other guys. Now Brian Rowe had a touchdown catch at Missouri. So he's starting to come on a little bit. He's got 7 catches on the season. I don't know that we heard Donovan Murph's name called at all last week. He's got 5 catches, and we mentioned Mazeo Bennett. Well, you mentioned Jared Brown. He's got 3 catches on the season. So he's got to do better. A lot of these guys have got to step up. This will be an opportunity. I wouldn't be surprised if they throw it. I'm just going to throw a number out there. I wouldn't be surprised if they throw it 40, 45 times. Unless, of course, now that could be reduced if they have success, they build a lead, they start milking the clock a little bit. But if the game is still a contested game, I wouldn't be surprised if the Gamecocks throw it 40, 45 times. That's what I would do. If Shane Beamer were to call me like tonight after midnight and say, hey, man, what do you think we should do? That's what I'm telling him. That's my advice. Throw the dang football.
Yeah, that would be a major shift in offensive philosophy. Even in the Vanderbilt game when they got down so much, they only threw it 34 times. So you're actually talking about what Kate Klubnik did on Saturday against Syracuse, where he threw it 60 times because of the way the game script was.
Well, I'm saying, I'm not saying throw it 45, 50 times out of desperation.
Right.
I'm saying
built into the offense.
Let it roll with your offensive game plan with the idea to come out throwing the foot. And the other thing too, they threw a beautiful screen pass at Missouri. Might have been their first screen of the season. I can't recall for sure, but they haven't thrown a bunch. But that's the best way to cut down on the pressure. Draws and screens. Throw some screen passes. Those are great counters to pressure coming from a defense. So you might see more of that in the Gamecock game plan on Saturday night as well.
Well, and Phil, considering how poorly the offensive line has been at run blocking thus far this year, maybe that will alleviate some of the problems for them, make it a little bit easier on them in the passing game. Maybe they're better pass blockers than they are run blockers.
Well, maybe they are. Find out. Maybe they're better backing up than they are going forward.
Exactly,
because they haven't.
Because they get shoved backwards anyway.
Yeah, they haven't proven they can go forward with any degree of success. All right, we're going to hit the break. You want to join us? Phone number 888-898-2525. Back in a moment.
When I grow up, I want to be a nurse. I want to be an engineer. I want to be a teacher.
There's never been a better time to start making their dreams come true. Future Scholar, South Carolina's 529 college savings plan, makes it easy to save for their future education. Contributions are tax deductible, earnings are tax free, and you can start saving right now with any amount. Go to futurescholar.com today to discover the smart, easy way to save for college. That's futurescholar.com.
Your home is where your memories live. It's where you laugh and where you love. We understand the importance of the valuables under your roof, tangible and intangible alike. So no matter what's around the corner, we'll be there, offering you and your family the support that's made Farm Bureau Insurance a trusted name for nearly 70 years. You deserve more. You deserve a promise. Learn more at scfbins.com.
Call me, Alex Satterfield, at 803-749-9171 for all of your Midlands insurance needs.
Hi, I'm attorney Jim Corbett. For over 35 years, I've been making claims, litigating cases, and mediating cases. Quick checks from a car wreck are usually lowball offers. What happens 5 or more years from now when you didn't get the treatment or compensation you needed? Call me, Jim Corbett, 803-765-2968, or Jim at JimCorbettAttorney.com. Corbett with an E, and the initial consultation is free. Jim Corbett, 803-765-2968.
When South Carolina's best high school football players take the field at the Touchstone Energy Cooperatives Bowl, they're backed by a powerful team of their own. As proud title sponsors, your local co-ops celebrate more than just a game. It's a tradition where talent shines, where teamwork matters, and where community spirit takes center stage. Don't miss the 78th Touchstone Energy Cooperatives Bowl, December 13th at Doug Shaw Memorial Stadium in Myrtle Beach, powered by your electric cooperative.
G3 here with Tsunami Bar Sports, and it's time for a fall preview. That's right, 720 Chris Drive, 378 and I-26, Frontage Road, where you can now preview the best technology for golf known to man. It's the Tsunami Bar. It's live weight. It's the only technology out where you get your tempo and flow going before you play. Now, it also serves as a pattern support tool. 720 Chris Drive, Frontage Road, 378 and I-26. You also can visit the Garage Gym Pro Shop. Pick up your tools, take them home, and while you're here, tour the Scramble Course 6-hole pitch and putt right now.
All right, welcome back. Big Thursday night edition of Sports Talk. Sports Talk Media Network. I know we got some storms a-brewing out there in the Atlantic. May come our way. Might brush us, might come inland. No big surprise this time of the year. But you know what? The beach is always going to be there. It might be a little closer to you this time next week, but it's always going to be there. So, with that in mind, make your plans on getting down to the coast and enjoying yourself when the weather's nice. And I think this weekend might be – it's really the first part of next week that I think things are projected to turn a little ugly. So might want to get down there and enjoy the beach while you can. Call Jimmy Smith at James Smith Real Estate, 843-237-4246, online at pauliesvacationrentals.com. That's 843-237-4246, pauliesvacationrentals.com. Your perfect beach getaway, just a phone call or a click away. Jimmy and the staff there will take great care of you, find exactly what you need from your accommodation standpoint. Again, James Smith Real Estate, Jimmy Smith, give him a call and let him help you out. Hey, Bergie, do you know who has the longest winning streak in all of D1 football? The longest winning streak in all of Division I.
Well, let's see. Ohio State would have been the only one to end, for the most part, FBS football last year and then start this season, but they lost at the tail end of last year.
I'm not going to let you pain yourself here. It's
my
Presbyterian.
Guess is I was going to say, my guess is you set this up because it's PC.
Well, PC reminded everybody with a tweet today under the heading PC football. The question, longest winning streak in D1 football, 8 games, Buckeyes, nope. Wolverines, nope. Tide, nope. Canes, nope. Longhorns, nope. Blue Hose? Bingo.
How about that?
So PC's putting itself in the same paragraph with those other programs. Way to go, Blue Hose.
That's what you got to do.
They are America's team, the Presbyterian Blue Hose. So they are on an 8-game winning streak, going to be facing Moorhead this weekend in their Pioneer League opener.
Can I get on them for just a quick second?
Yeah,
though?
go right ahead.
They also tweeted out their uniforms for Saturday. PC, your school colors are not black. Stop wearing black. Your school colors are blue and garnet. Wear garnet and blue. Don't wear black.
Are they doing a blackout?
The tweet says the storm brews in black and blue.
You know, let me just give PC a little bit of advice. Can I give him a little bit of advice? I know you're having some fun. This is kind of unprecedented. But don't let your social media people get over their skis.
Good point.
I mean, what happens is, you start having a nice little run and you're winning games and your social media people, they just start pumping out all this stuff. And then you can't back it up. Now, maybe they'll back it up. Maybe they're going to run the table and back it up. But
and they are doing a blackout to answer your question on Saturday.
Yeah, so just be careful you don't build it up too much. So now the NCAA is expected to approve legislation that will allow uniforms to feature sponsorship patches. The patches could be added to jerseys as soon as next fall. So I'm planning on getting Sports Talk on a jersey. Where should we put it? With our phone number. I'm going to put Sports Talk. And you know what? You know who would be cheap? Florida. I think an ad on a Florida Gator jersey will be dirt cheap by the end of this season.
I was going to go Presbyterian, but I think Florida would probably be cheaper.
Yeah, Florida will be cheaper. Listen to Sports Talk online. Since they're down in Florida, we'll put the URL on there and maybe the
well, we could always get an affiliate in Gainesville.
The X address.
We could just get an affiliate
and I'll put the plumber's email on there as well. Okay. For more information, contact the plumber.
Plumber at SportsTalkSC.com.
Oh, let's see. What else can money buy you today in college sports? It can buy you an entire division, apparently. FCS. There's a private equity firm, Sequence Equity. They've got a plan for privatizing FCS college football playoff. This according to Front Office Sports. The firm told schools they can extract more value from the FCS playoffs at a time when schools are seeking newer ways to make money for revenue sharing. Will it ever end, this money grab in college sports now? I just don't understand, all these people coming out of the woodwork now just trying every which way they can to cash in on college sports, and it will just eventually blow up in their faces. I do believe. I just don't see how it can continue. And as we've heard from the money coach, Fran Halloran, If private equity gets involved, look out. Just look out.
Well, what I found interesting about this story, Phil, is they mentioned in the story that they tried to contact several different FCS conferences, and none of them would respond. Why wouldn't you put your feelings on record? I mean, obviously, if you want to come out in favor of this, nobody's going to criticize you for that. I mean, it's the new era of college athletics, and it's where we're headed. And clearly, this is probably going to happen. If a story is already out about this, it's 9/10 down the road. So I just found it interesting that none of the FCS conferences in which they talked to would comment about it, including the Ivy League.
Mm-hmm.
They declined to comment.
The Ivy League is going to participate in the playoffs for the first time this year.
Mm-hmm.
Patriot League did not respond. The Big Sky unavailable for comment. I don't know. I don't know what kind of money they're thinking about. They can generate, what kind of television ratings they think they can generate. But we'll see. Someone's always out there. Someone's always out there digging now in college athletics, always trying to find an angle to make money off of college athletics, while also trying to make the team and the league's money as well. But somebody else is trying to cash in too. Okay, we'll cash in with Mike Morgan coming up in a moment.
On Point weather on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. We are cloudy with a 40% chance of some overnight rain. Look for a low dipping down to 70. Tomorrow, a bit cooler with a high of 84, a 60% chance we get on and off showers throughout the day and into the evening. For Saturday, well, it's very similar. A high of 81 to go with those on and off showers again. And for Sunday, a bit nicer, a blend of sunshine, probably more clouds, and the high is 82. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
Hey y'all, it's Ted from Flight Deck Restaurant. We're introducing Friday Night Prime Rib Special. Our great chefs at Flight Deck Restaurant have created a great prime rib dinner special, which includes a 10-ounce slow-roasted certified Angus beef prime rib dinner, served with 2 sides of your choice for only $22.95. And if you mention We Love Flight Deck, you get a free cookie or soft drink with your meal. So come see us at Flight Deck Restaurant to enjoy a delicious slow-roasted prime rib dinner. While you're here, check out the new and improved arcade with over 33 games. We at Flight Deck Restaurant thank you, and God bless.
Higher. With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. President Trump has signed an executive order declaring that a proposed deal allowing TikTok to continue operating in the United States will be a qualified sale that meets national security concerns laid out by the law. Much is still unknown about the actual arrangement, but Trump said Chinese President Xi Jinping gave us the go-ahead to proceed with the deal. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has summoned hundreds of generals and admirals to a base in Northern Virginia for a sudden meeting next week. The directive doesn't offer a reason for the gathering Tuesday of senior commanders of the 1-star rank or higher and their top advisors. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 174 points, the Nasdaq dropped 113. More details at srnnews.com.
Sometimes timing is everything, and I've been talking the talk about Broker Solar for a good minute. I'm a fan. I've had some Point listeners ask me about Broker Solar. They're on the fence because of what's going on in D.C. Now that the politics have settled, we know what's in that big, beautiful bill. We know the federal tax credit for getting solar power at your home. It's going to end in December, so the clock is ticking. You want that 30% federal tax credit, believe me. So we need to get Ken out to your place before they cut it. Plus, you'll still get a 25% tax credit here in South Carolina. So yeah, timing is everything. 30% federal, 25% state credit. Are you kidding me? That's a big part of the cost already knocked out for solar power. It's time for you to take control of your own power bill. Like I said, timing's everything. Now is the time. Online, it's brokersolar.com or just call Ken and his team. 807-7417. That's 807-7417. brokersolar.com.
The leaves are turning. The days are shortening. And the air is cooling. The call of the hunt, getting your gear together, and the walk to the stand are just the beginning of your next great hunting story. Palmetto State Armory is here to help get you prepared for this year's adventures. Top brands, trusted gear, unbeatable prices, and knowledgeable staff. Palmetto State Armory has everything you need to write your next story today.
This fall, discover a place where friendly faces greet you at the door. McCoy Hardware of Lexington, Greg Lynette, and their welcoming team make every visit a breeze with expert advice and genuine hometown care. No more endless aisles or big box blues, just quality products and people who want to know your name. For every project, big or small, find what you need and a neighborly smile at 2028 Augusta Highway. Shop local. Shop happy. McCoy Hardware of Lexington.
It's painting season in the Midlands, and Southern Palmetto Painting and Renovation sets the tone for inspired living. Watch your home change from ordinary to outstanding with colors that liven every wall and craftsmanship you can trust. Michael and his team are fully licensed, bonded, and insured. They care for every detail inside and out of your home. Let's give your home the style and care it deserves. Call 922-5615 Southern Palmetto Painting and Renovations, where every project reflects pride.
Escape the hustle and bustle of everyday life with Spa MD, your sanctuary of rejuvenation. Feel the tension melt away as our expert team guides you through your customized wellness journey. From soothing massages to revitalizing treatments, we promise a remarkable experience that leaves you feeling renewed and empowered. Discover the calm within every visit. Reach out at 251-9400 or online at visitspamd.com to explore your options. Your oasis of tranquility awaits.
All right, in the we knew this was coming department, just coming out, Dre Quinn has decommitted from Clemson. The defensive end from, well, it was Buford. I think he's Loganville now. Or the other way around. I think maybe he's at Buford now. Buford, Georgia, had been committed to Clemson since the summer, but he did the unthinkable. He took a visit.
The one. Yeah.
He took a visit to another school that goes against the grain with Dabo Swinney, and thus it's just a matter of time before he decommitted. Now, he's decommitted. This has happened before. Players have decommitted from Clemson to take other visits, then they eventually turn around and commit to Clemson again. Not saying that'll be the case here. But he took a visit to Tennessee for their game last weekend, so you had to know a decommitment was coming, and there it is. It's out there now. He is decommitted from Clemson, so the Tigers lose one of their top commitments in the class. When it rains, it pours.
But shouldn't you have to decommit before you take the visit?
Not when you're keeping the visit secret until you talk about it afterwards. Yeah. No, that was you could do it that way. You could, but
I mean, isn't that sort of what Dabo said? Hey, if you want to go take other visits, great. Decommit from us first, though, because you're clearly not committed.
Well, that is what he's told the players. But in this case, I think the young man went ahead and took the visit. Did not go public with the fact he was taking the visit until after he was finished with the visit, and now he has decommitted. However, one person who has been committed to Sports Talk and will never, ever decommit, because we bought him some soup one time when he wasn't feeling well, Mexican soup at that.
I bought him soup.
Time for Mike Morgan. Morgan on the move. And Morgan on the Move is brought to you by Playing Against Sports in Harbison, which is outside of Columbia in Irmo. Chris Mosley runs the best sporting goods shop in the Palmetto State. Irmo, a part of St. Andrews, by the way. With all the things you want to buy, sell, or trade, that's Chris Mosley. Best selection, best prices, and a great friendly staff. Playing Against Sports in Columbia.
Sponsored by Mid-State Roofing, South Carolina's leading roofer for over 30 years. Protecting what matters most.
Uh-oh, guess what day it is? Mike. What day is it, Mike? Leslie, guess what today is?
It's Mike Day.
Woo-hoo!
You know you're big time when you get a personalized, pre-produced introduction like that. You don't get that on the Chief Sports Network. You don't get that in Atlanta. You don't get that in L.A. You get it here on Sports Talk.
I do get that on the Elite Media Network, home of the Game of the Week, which I'll be broadcasting again this week. But yeah, you're right. I don't get it anywhere else. So kudos. Was that Josh that came up with that?
That'd be the plumber.
Where did the kudos go?
That's the plumber.
Way to go, plumber.
Thank you.
Plumber's looking to win a Marconi.
Unclogging pipes since 1969.
He just wants some macaroni. He doesn't care about Marconi. Just give him a plate of macaroni. See, some Seawell's macaroni would do him well. Macaroni and cheese.
Very nice.
Had some
very
yesterday.
nice.
Had some yesterday. I know you're missing it. I know you want Seawell's.
Well, so I miss Seawell's when they would cater the coaches' press conferences and the press box during Gamecock football games and basketball, as I recall. But they don't do that anymore, do they?
They do the press. They don't. First of all, they don't feed you at the press conferences anymore. No more feed.
Oh, well,
there's no more feeding
that's why
of the media.
I stopped showing up.
The troughs are gone. Now, Clemson will give you Chick-fil-A. Clemson does bring boxes of Chick-fil-A. Boy, you ought to see the Clemson media crowd go after those Chick-fil-A boxes. It's like it's like they hadn't eaten in 3 days. They just build up their hunger. But no,
a crowd of jackals.
See,
it is Chick-fil-A though, Phil.
That's true.
I know when I've gone up there, I have not missed getting my
That's
box.
appealing. Now, Seawell's does do the games. They still do the press box food, so that's awesome.
Well, they. I'm glad you mentioned that because the highlight of calling the South Carolina Vanderbilt game for me was definitely the pregame and halftime food. So kudos to Seawell's on that.
Absolutely. Okay, good to have you with us. As you mentioned, you'll be out at Arkansas. We'll talk about that coming up in just a little bit, but let's catch up. It's a big weekend around the SEC for sure. I guess the overall best weekend of the year thus far.
Yes, it is. It's an incredible slate of games. So I just had Oregon in the Civil War and them against the Ducks on the road against Penn State. That's the game that I understand we're in SEC, ACC country. But if you were to expand and broaden the horizons a little bit, that's a phenomenal game. It really is. And I think the winner, that's a statement win. If the winner of that game, to me, is good enough to win the national championship. So who comes out on top of that one? And then, of course, within the SEC, there's a number of significant matchups. Depends on where you want to start. The biggest one is obviously Georgia-Alabama. Kirby, it's well documented, especially in Atlanta, the struggles he's had against Alabama. But that was Nick Saban's Alabama. I realize they lost last year and just a thriller in Tuscaloosa. But overall, he's just had problems with the Tide, and that is not lost on him, nor the fan base, nor that locker room. We're going to see Kalen DeBoer either make a statement. We've got all that stuff that happened against Florida State out of our system. This is the new Alabama, which hopefully resembles the not-so-old Alabama under Nick. Or he is going to feel the wrath of Tide Nation once again if they go between the hedges and lose. And Georgia's got the longest home winning streak in the country the last time I checked. So I think that's awfully intriguing. Even games like Tennessee, Mississippi State. I had Mississippi State earlier, and basically a walk-off touchdown to beat Arizona State. They have not looked back since. There's a really improved team that Jeff Lebby has. That team excites me. Auburn got jobbed by perhaps the worst injustice in terms of officiating last week against Oklahoma. And they will try to find the magic against Texas A&M. Oklahoma now is going to be without John Mateer for a couple weeks. That's obviously a big deal. And then, of course, South Carolina has to right the ship. Just cannot lose at home to Kentucky. If you do, and you go into that bye 2-3 with that 5-game gauntlet ahead of you, that's where you really start getting beyond concern. So there's a lot of great storylines. We're only in week 5, and there's already tremendous storylines. Stat of the day, in here we are only through 4 weeks, there are 8 undefeated teams in the SEC. That's obviously going to change, but there are 8 undefeated thus far.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the record against non-conference opponents, again, is so lopsided. The SEC is doing SEC things, and we get that. You mentioned well, one thing about Alabama, I'll say this. The Florida State loss was a debacle for them, and, of course, it shocked their fan base. But Florida State might be pretty good, and nobody knew going into that game that Florida State was going to be pretty good, maybe, playoff-bound good. They still have some more hurdles to clear, but so far they've looked really good to me. So maybe that's not that bad of a loss down there, first game of the season. And now they've apparently found their quarterback. He seems to be settling in. Makes all the difference in the world for your team when you got your quarterback confident and playing good football. And we'll see what happens moving forward. But now to South Carolina, Kentucky, and we were talking about this earlier, Mike. And, I just think the Gamecocks just need to unleash the right arm of Lenore Sellers here. And this Kentucky team has been abysmal in defending the pass so far this season. Why not just load it up and throw the ball within your offense, 40, 45 times out there? Why not just load it up?
It's an interesting point. It's funny, a lot of the people on the show that I'm part of, the Inside the Gamecock show, what they are clamoring for is more Lenoris running the ball. Now, I understand that, and I wouldn't mind seeing it myself. More zone read type of looks, use his best asset. The flip side of that is every team out there knows that that's his best asset right now, so they're stacking the box. It's part of the reason why Carolina really struggled running the ball against Missouri. What was it, 11 carries for 19 yards by the running backs?
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't include the lost yardage and sacks. So I don't know what the right answer is. I think if the defense is going to play that way, I'm with you. Then start calling pass plays, and you're going to get man-to-man coverage. That's what the long touchdown pass to Ventravius came on. They're clearly basically gambling and saying, okay, Lenoris beat us with your arm. And I thought Lenoris made some good throws in that game. So what does Kentucky do differently? I don't know. Kentucky is not good. This is not a Mark Stoops defense. They do not have that type of personnel. They have not been that effective. If ever there was a point in time for a Carolina offense that has been fairly anemic going back to the end of last year, I think I mentioned that stat on your show, 4 consecutive games of 17 points. This is just on the offense, no special teams. 17, 17, 17, 17, 7 against Vandy, and then a 21-point, let's call it an offensive explosion against Missouri. So I think if there was ever going to be a game where the offense just lets it rip and shows signs of extra life, I think this is the game to do it. I really do. It's at home. Everybody is fairly healthy, and I just don't think Kentucky is a formidable defense. So maybe we see the type of offense that people thought we might see most of the year.
LSU at Ole Miss, all right? So LSU, of course, looking like a very strong national championship contender, even though Nussmeier hasn't had a fabulous year to this point. They're still undefeated. And then Ole Miss is going to go with a freshman quarterback or transfer quarterback, Trinidad Chambliss.
Chambliss from Ferris State, Division II Ferris State.
Yeah, explain this guy to us. What do you know, and why is he succeeding in the? Or is Lane Kiffin just that? Is he that quarterback whisperer? He can just take a quarterback and mold him into a very successful SEC quarterback, even on to the NFL. As Jackson Dart's now the starting quarterback with the Giants.
Yeah, and even before that, Matt Corral, I know he didn't make it, quote unquote, in the NFL. He was with the Panthers for a bit. Matt had some kind of personal issues that he had to work through. But if you go back at Ole Miss, he was terrific under Lane, and he wasn't terrific before Lane. Lane is the closest thing to a quarterback whisperer. There's no doubt, which is why you hear a lot of Florida fans saying after they fire Billy Napier, which seems to be a foregone conclusion, they want Lane. I don't think it's even close.
Mm-hmm.
That's their number one pick. Whether or not they get him or not, it's a whole other story.
Yeah.
But yeah, this kid, the Trinidad Chambliss kid, He won He won a national championship at Division II Ferris State, which I believe is in Michigan, which is where he's from. And he actually, right now, there's a bit of a quarterback controversy there. The fans want him over Austin Simmons, and apparently Lane Kiffin has given the fans what they want. Remember, Austin Simmons, even though he got banged up, he was supposed to be their everything this year. But now they might have kind of stumbled upon the better of the two quarterbacks. I think that's a very, very intriguing game. Garrett Nussmeier has not had the great start. I mean, that's the biggest story to me in the SEC, is that the quarterbacks that had the most hype coming in have actually had disappointing starts to the season, and the guys that people were not talking about are all over the top of the SEC leaderboard in passing. So what does Nussmeier do in this ball game? I think this one is fascinating in a number of ways.
Yeah.
Mike Morgan on the move with us on a Thursday night. And Mike, probably the worst kept secret in all of college football, broke on Monday, and then the SEC finally decided they'd roll out the permanent rivalries, or at least the permanent opponents, on Tuesday night after everybody had already told us on Monday who they were. I realize this is a difficult exercise for the league, but do you think for the most part, like for instance, the Gamecocks playing Kentucky instead of, say, Tennessee, or Alabama and LSU, to me seemed like the obvious one that's not there? Did the SEC, though, overall, do you think they got it right?
I think so. I mean, there's some games that you're always going to miss out on. I mean, Florida LSU has been immensely entertaining, although LSU's clearly dominated that. Well, that's gone. Florida Tennessee used to be one of the biggest games on the schedule nationally every year. That's gone. But the main ones that you had to preserve, obviously Auburn, Alabama, Georgia, Auburn. I think that they wanted to do a lot of geographically. They wanted to do a lot of it geographically. So when you look at a Missouri, like, what are they going to do with Missouri? The whole notion of the South Carolina-Missouri game being the Mayor's Cup or whatever, that's silly. Nobody gets hyped up about that game. It's not a rivalry. If you've ever been to Como, there's nothing about that says, well, it's a great SEC showdown here, So I don't think any Gamecock fans will miss that. I think if you go specifically for Carolina, the one game I thought had to be back on there was Georgia. That's your border rival. There's been a lot of good games in that matchup. So I was happy to see that get back. Kentucky makes sense. And then Florida, you could have gone Florida, you could have gone Tennessee. I don't know, six or half dozen or the other. But I think the main thing was to get Georgia and to not just completely load it up. And like I said, I don't think anybody will miss the annual Missouri trip, even with a somewhat silly trophy that accompanies it.
Mike, before we let you go, you're going to be at Arkansas, Notre Dame, big game, national audience, the elite radio network there that you'll be on, and I know you're going to impress everybody with your dashing good looks and your smoking hot wife and your very deep voice. Your voice has gotten very deep. But if you really want to impress your listeners, here's a trivia question for you. If you really want to impress your listeners with the depth of your football knowledge, are you ready? Take this down.
I'm ready, yes.
Going into this weekend, which team has the longest winning streak in is it? Let me check my
Division I football.
Is it do we call it? Okay, in Division I football, Division I, yeah, not FBS, FCS, all combined. Who's got the longest winning streak in Division I football?
Does it have a Dakota in it?
No, sir.
Okay,
that
rules that out. Yeah, that's typically where I would go. You've stumped me, but I'm definitely going to use this on the broadcast now. This type of knowledge.
Your Presbyterian College Blue Hose.
No kidding.
They've won 8 in a row, going back to last year. There you go. Impress your friends.
Wait a minute now. So what was their last loss?
Their last loss was last year sometime.
Oh, but they didn't make the playoff.
No, because they got off to kind of a slow start.
Okay.
They're in the Pioneer League, which is a non-scholarship league. They did not win their league, So they didn't make the playoffs,
Okay.
but they did win their last 4. They did not go to the playoffs.
Okay.
They did win their last 4. They've won their first 4. They scored 76 points last week on one of your favorite places to visit, Bluefield of West Virginia. Yeah. So just remember that during your broadcast if you want to impress people. Some people are wondering just – maybe Martha and George are listening on the radio, and Martha says to George, how much does this Morgan know about football? You drop that little nugget in there, you're going to impress them.
You know what I was going to do? I was going to go back into a time machine 5 years ago and ask the plumber to pull the audio of you breaking down the Omega Blake recruiting list, because he's now the top wide receiver for Arkansas.
Yes, he is.
I don't know if you knew that, but the kid from South Point, Rock Hill, he leads the Razorbacks in receptions with 24. So I could have the producer, the moment he makes a big play the cut of you 5 years ago going, well, he's narrowed it down to North Carolina, South Carolina, East Carolina, South Carolina State, West Virginia, Illinois State, Charlotte, Southside Charlotte. We could just do the whole thing and just roll right into the next play.
That kind of stuff, that has a shelf life of forever. It never it never gets old. All right, we got to go.
Well, give me a factoid. Give me something on Omega Blake. What's his favorite breakfast cereal? Give me something I can use.
Well, I just know he didn't last long at South Carolina, which surprised and disappointed everybody. They thought he was going to be a player.
Why was that? What happened? Talk to me. What's the inside story?
I would say, I don't know, but I would say playing time. He wasn't getting any.
Okay.
And then he left. I think he went somewhere else before he went to Arkansas. We got to hit the break. Yeah, we got to hit the break. Thank you, Mike. Have a safe trip.
You got it.
Back in a moment.
See you, bud.
This is Major Billy Downer with the Department of Natural Resources, and I've got a message for all of our hunters out there. When you go afield, always make sure to positively identify your target. Know the identifying features of the game you're hunting, and know what's beyond your target in case you miss. If you want more information on hunter education, visit dnr.sc.gov or join us on Wednesday nights for SC Wild.
You can listen to SC Wild on the Sports Talk Media Network or at dnr.sc.gov/podcasts.
Football season is upon us, and that means Columbia is welcoming fans from around the corner and across the country. No matter where you're from, Gamecocks love coming together for game day energy that can only be found in South Carolina's capital city. Book hotel rooms, find pre- and post-game activities, and plan your tailgate spread with local favorites from pimento cheese to barbecue at experiencecolumbiasc.com. We'll see you soon, and go Gamecocks!
There's a lot of things we take for granted in our lives. Your home's AC will run cool, your drive-through coffee will be hot, and the car will start when it's time to take your kids to school. It's when things don't go as planned that you start thinking about who to call and where to turn. The good thing is, you can prepare for life's most difficult days by calling the Larry Lucas Agency today. Larry is a State Farm agent that has been taking care of people across South Carolina for more than 2 decades. You probably have insurance, but switching is easy, and bundling can save you hundreds or more. Most importantly, the Larry Lucas Agency can help you choose the protection you want at the price you want. All backed by South Carolina's #1 home and auto insurance company. Visit LarryLucasAgency.com today or give Larry a call at 803-799-1998. Like a good neighbor, Larry Lucas State Farm is there.
The lottery is not about getting rich. It's about helping people, and it always has been. The lottery is what helped raise the Great Wall of China, build the roads of Rome, and today in South Carolina, it's what generates millions of dollars each year for scholarships like the SC Hope, Life, and Palmetto Fellows. The South Carolina Education Lottery is investing in you. Visit sceducationlottery.com/betteryou to learn more.
All All right, coming up top of the hour, we could squeeze in a quick call here. If we can get it out in 60 seconds. Let's go to Hank in Columbia. Hank, time is short. Make it quick.
Yes, Corn. I was asking that. I just wanted to see earlier this week, Perry Orth was on one of your segments from your show before you came back, and he did think that South Carolina would be able to run the ball once if I can paraphrase, and Chris can either make sure I'm wrong or right. He was saying that he felt that one of the issues was the negative penalties that put them in long distance, and then also he said that the way the runs were being called with these zone reads is causing the linemen to come up knowing they can't. If Lenoir pulls and doesn't throw, they can't go further than 3 yards down. Now, they've done some poor blocking. We're not going to excuse them for that.
Mm-hmm.
But he felt like it was a combination of things. Is that about what he was saying, Chris, or am I wrong?
No, you're spot on, Hank. And the one thing that impressed me, Phil, with Perry's comments was, because I think we've given this young man a hard time, he actually believes Rashul Faison is a really good running back. He just hasn't had a chance to really showcase his skills thus far this year.
I agree with that. I mean, he's got moves. He looks like a good running back. He just hasn't had the space, I guess. Maybe some of that's on him. Maybe he's not picking the holes right, but I do think he looks like a good running back. Okay, we will be back.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. This just in, James Comey has been charged with making a false statement and obstruction in a criminal case filed days after President Donald Trump appeared to urge his Attorney General to prosecute the former FBI director and other perceived political enemies. We'll have more on this story as it develops. A big meeting has been called for top U.S. military commanders.
Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has summoned hundreds of the military's top generals, admirals, and advisors for a meeting next week at the Marine Corps base in Quantico, Virginia. The directive did not offer a reason for the gathering, and people familiar with the matter described the move as unusual. The plan was first reported by the Washington Post and confirmed by at least 3 sources to the Associated Press. The Pentagon's top spokesman, Sean Parnell, also confirmed that Hegseth will be addressing his senior military leaders early next week. I'm Jennifer King.
The nation of Denmark reports suspicious drones over 4 different airports within its airspace last night. Correspondent Karen Chamas reports.
The Danish defense minister says it appears a professional actor was behind the systematic flights overnight Wednesday into Thursday. He called the incidents a hybrid attack because the flights all occurred within roughly the same time frame. Authorities say it was not immediately clear who was behind the incidents, but there is no danger to the public. A similar incident at Copenhagen Airport grounded flights for hours on Monday night, prompting concerns that Russia could be behind it. I'm Karen Shammer.
President Trump has signed an executive order declaring that a proposed deal allowing TikTok to continue operating in the United States will be a qualified sale that meets national security concerns laid out by the law. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 174 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Dinesh D'Souza went into a war zone to make his new film, revealing never-before-seen footage of October 7th. The film offers a new way to understand Israel, radical Islam, anti-Semitism, and biblical prophecy.
Could the fate of the world be tied to this place?
Dinesh D'Souza's new film, The Dragon's Prophecy, is in theaters 2 nights only, October 6th and 8th. Streaming and DVDs available October 9th. All tickets and pre-orders at thedragonsprophecyfilm.com. Thedragonsprophecyfilm.com.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
A swarm of robbers hit a California jewelry store.
At least 24 people wearing masks and some carrying pickaxes and handguns smashed jewelry cases and made off with bags full of items at a San Francisco Bay Area jewelry store. Video from the Monday robbery shows a stream of people wearing masks covering their entire faces, entering the jewelry store and then using the pickaxes to crack the glass cases and clear them out. The robbers fled to cars waiting nearby. Officers say they tracked the vehicles from the air and have arrested several suspects. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
A lack of resources and an outdated emergency alert process led to delays in warning residents about the need to evacuate as flames began consuming neighborhoods during the deadly Los Angeles wildfires last January. News and analysis at townhall.com. From Washington, I'm Keith Peters. North Korea's
On Point weather on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. We are cloudy with a 40% chance of some overnight rain. Look for a low dipping down to 70. Tomorrow, a bit cooler with a high of 84, a 60% chance we get on and off showers throughout the day and into the evening. For Saturday, well, it's very similar. A high of 81 to go with those on and off showers again. And for Sunday, a bit nicer, a blend of sunshine, probably more clouds, and the high is 82. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point. This is The Point. Make the point.
Welcome back to Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network. You can reach the guys with the South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number, 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now back to Phil and Chris with the second hour of Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network.
All right, we're back. Sports Talk Media Network. On this big Thursday night, been a busy show so far. Just hearing from Mike Morgan a little while ago, and coming up, we've got recruiting for you. MJ Ward from up at Bethpage Black as we preview the beginning of the Ryder Cup. They've got the foursome matches all set up. We'll talk about all that. Time permitting, we'll hear some comments from Clemson's defensive tackle Peter Woods, who was pretty blunt in his assessment of what they're doing defensively at Clemson. We'll try to get to that, and also Clayton White, South Carolina defensive coordinator. But before we do all that, we jump away from football for a little bit to talk some basketball. Basketball season is quickly moving on top of us. And, of course, up at Wofford, they had a major shakeup with the basketball program. They have a new head coach, and Coach Kevin Giltner. Not a name that should be a surprise to anybody who follows Wofford, because he played at Wofford and coached at Wofford with Mike Young, was at Virginia Tech until this situation with Dwight Perry took place, and now he's back to run the program at his alma mater, and he joins us here on Sports Talk. And Kevin, first of all, great to have you with us. Congratulations. I know it's a difficult way to come back home to your alma mater to take over the basketball program, but nonetheless, it's all about moving forward. And this baby's yours now.
Yeah, I think you said it right. It's about moving forward, and I love this place, guys. So I'm in. I told them zero hesitations. I'm in. I'm not even going to ask any questions. I'll come back, and I love the people here, and I love the community. So it was an easy decision, but we are looking forward. The guys are, on the team are looking forward. So excited to get to that and excited to get to basketball.
Absolutely. What was it like with your first team meeting with the guys?
Yeah, kind of looking at you like you got four heads a little bit, because they don't know who you are, but they welcomed me so quickly, and were so generous, and it was we went right to the court. So we met at like 4:00 when I got announced, and literally went to the court at 5:00. So it was good to meet. I talked a little bit about expectations, let them know who I am, let them ask tons of questions. And then we instantly just went to the court, and I think that was a really good kind of icebreaker to, getting to know each other and build a little sweat equity, and that went a long way. So we've been on the court 3 times now. Everybody's been at every practice. Everybody's been at every meeting, and those guys have welcomed me with open arms, and I'm thankful for that.
Awesome. What are your expectations stepping into this situation?
Yeah, just your general team expectations, not necessarily rules, but this is how this thing is going to run. It's going to be a clean-cut, high-character, integrity-first operation here, and what it has been. And I'm not going to shy away from that. I'm going to hold them accountable in that regard because that's why we've, won 6 championships since 2010. So from a basketball perspective, though, on court, I just want them to play hard, and I want them to play connected. And that sounds cliche, but we got to do baby steps and we got to keep it simple. But I told the guys, listen, the biggest thing we got to overcome right now is just the lack of relationships. So, we're doing a lot of individual player meetings. We're doing a lot of small group meetings. We're doing a lot of, activities together just to get to know each other. And I think once that continues to grow, the basketball will grow with it.
How do you like this team? I mean, you've only had it a couple of practices, but, are you already kind of getting a feel for what you've got to work with?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. This staff has done a great job of assembling the team. And, we got good coaches on this staff, and they've already put some things in that I really like and kind of the way I wanted to play anyway. So, it's kind of been seamless transition. And, I'm not going to come in here and blow this thing up and say this is the verbiage I want to use and this is how I want to do it. I want to meet them halfway, and it's been good. But the talent is good. The guys are good. They play really, really hard, man. But today was probably our hardest practice. And they actually, bought into it, and, the effort's there.
Sure.
Kevin Gilter, the new head coach at Wofford College, joining us tonight. And, Coach, I'll echo Phil's sentiments. Congratulations on coming home. I know that's really exciting for you, but I'm fascinated by what you just talked about with regards to taking over a program basically 5 weeks from tip-off, how much you're relying on the current staff to maybe lay the foundation for you, and how much are you going to be able to input what you'd like to see versus what you're just going to be able to, the guys are used to playing and how the style of play they're used to, maybe for this season before you can really start to implement what you want to see?
I'm relying on the staff a lot. The staff a lot. They are good coaches. We've got 2 former head coaches on our staff. Drew Gibson is a godsend. I've known Drew since 2007. He was like kind of my host when I went on my official visit to Wofford, and we worked together at Wofford for 3 years. When I played professionally in Iceland, I played against him. Like, we've always been close, and that's family to me. And he kept this thing together in an uncertain time, and I'm so thankful for him. Jeremiah is a really, really good coach. Didn't know Trent at all, but he's been super impressive. And Andy Muse is, I've known him and his family for a long, long time. So I'm relying on them a lot because they went through that too. But from a, what we're running and the X's and O's and all that type of stuff, listen, guys, at the end of the day, the rim's still 10 feet tall. The ball's round, and it's 94 feet up and down on every court we play. Like, we're not going to overcomplicate that. I'm not going to stress about what we have in, what we don't have in. Is it mine? Is it theirs? We're all in this thing together, and let's get connected. Let's have a really good relationship with everybody, play really, really hard, and it's amazing how things turn out. Yes, strategy is super, super important, but culture eats strategy for lunch every single time. So we're going to continue to build that.
Kevin Giltner with us for a few more moments. And one other thing, Coach, you talked about him glowingly during your press conference earlier this week. What kind of influence has Mike Young been on you and your career?
Oh, man, like, not just my career, my life. I owe that guy everything. When I left my father and my mom, and moved to college 6 hours away, he has been that figure for me ever since then. And even when he was recruiting me, the guy from a basketball, oh yeah, he's done a lot. I've learned a lot. He's a heck of a coach. Of course, he's going to have an effect on me there. But guys, it pales in comparison to, just the impact he's had on my life as a father, as a husband, as a friend, as a member of society. Like, that guy has shaped who I am, and I owe him, everything. So I'm super thankful to be a part of him, and he's been the most influential person in my life ever since I became an adult and moved away.
Well, you guys did some special things when he was the coach. You were a player, and T-Dog fans are going to be kind of expecting the same thing. I mean, are you ready to deal with those expectations? They kind of feel like, this is sort of like Mike Young version 2. Come on in here and make this thing a SoCon power once again. Then again, they did win the tournament last year and go to the NCAA. So it's not like from the basketball standpoint on the court that you've got a broken miss there or anything.
Right. No, it's like I said, we've got a good thing going here, and the program is in place. While there could be different coaches here, different coaches there, and sometimes it looks a little different in small ways, the program and the people at Wofford and the leadership is just unreal, and I think that's reflective of all the success. But am I ready to deal for expectations? That's what you sign up for as a head coach. Like, that's what you sign up for. I want people to want us to win. I want people to say they should be doing big things. That means I'm in the right spot. We want to win, and we want to continue to win big. We want to win championships. We've won 6 of them since 2010. I want that on my mind all the time because that challenges me and that pushes me. The expectations, that just comes with the job. But we have our own expectations as a program, and, we're going to take that literally one day at a time, especially now.
You're not interested in taking baby steps into this thing. It sounds to me like you're ready to run into it full speed ahead.
No one feels sorry for us. I'm not interested in average. I ain't interested in excuses. I ain't interested in, having a pity party, right? Like, George Mason on November 3rd is going to try to destroy us. That's what that's competition. That's life. That's athletics. So we're not going to feel sorry for ourselves because no one else feels sorry for us. Maybe we're a little bit behind because I just got here on Monday, but we're going to do it the right way and not skip any steps. At the end of the day, fellas, we got to be playing our best basketball at the end of the year when it matters the most. Now, every game matters. I'm not saying that. Yeah. Tomorrow matters. But in the world of athletics, you want to be playing your best basketball when it matters most. And I hope to be playing meaningful games in February, March.
Well, got a feeling you'll be right there in the hunt in the SoCon, which will give you a chance to be doing just that. We thank you for joining us. Congratulations on the new gig. Look forward to watching your team and seeing you and meeting you again in person and talking to you during the season. So thanks so much for the time.
I really appreciate you guys having me on. If you guys need anything from us, you just holler. The kind words are certainly appreciated, and fired up to be here, fired to be back up in the upstate, fired up to be home. Appreciate you guys. Go Terriers.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Coach.
Kevin. Kevin Giltner, new coach at Wofford. He does sound fired up.
Yeah, I think that's a really good hire for them, considering. Yeah.
I mean, they lost a good coach in Dwight Perry.
They did.
Obviously, he's a good coach. It's unfortunate that what happened, but it happened and it was dealt with, and here we are. And they got a good guy, it sounds like, in charge. MJ coming up.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
Hi, I'm Lisa Hosseller-Brown. Did you know Lawyer Lisa offers a prevention plan add-on to our services? If you already have a trust or just need some updates, ask about getting your ducks in a row and getting all of your wishes set out before it's needed. Visit lawyerlisa.com for more information.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
7511 St. Andrews Road, Irmo, South Carolina.
You were always more than my mom. You were my role model, my best friend, and biggest supporter. You filled my days with unconditional love, and you also prepared for the day when you couldn't be here. Because of the woman you were back then, I'm able to be the woman I am now. Your planning made this moment possible.
Set your family up for life. Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance. Your friends for life.
Life insurance isn't for you. It's for those you love the most. For a complete insurance review, call Buddy Bridges in Lawrence County at 864-923-2174, serving Lawrence, Clinton, and the shores of Lake Greenwood.
Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, Jackson, Mississippi. Not licensed to do business in all 50 states.
Traveling can be the worst, especially when you can't find your favorite show. Well, don't worry. We've got the perfect way to keep up with everything happening in the Palmetto State when you're away from home. Just pull up the Chief Sports app on your mobile device, and you can listen live to Sports Talk.
All right, welcome in, everybody. Sports Talk Media Network.
So the next time you can't find us on one of our great radio affiliates, just log on to the Chief Sports app, the best way to stay connected with the Sports Talk Media Network.
South Carolina's taste buds have spoken, and they're asking for beef. There are more than 7,800 farms raising cattle from pasture to plate in the Palmetto State. So whether it's steaks on the grill before the big game, sirloin medallions plated for date night, or burgers with a family, make sure beef is a part of your playbook this football season. Smoked, grilled, and slow roasted. Find the best way to enjoy your beef at sccattle.org. Beef. It's what's for dinner in South Carolina. Funded by the South Carolina Beef Council, part of the Beef Checkoff program.
Straight Up Sports is simply all sports, all the time. Straight Up Sports is a collection of retired and award-winning sports writers and sports broadcasters from around South Carolina. Like Bob Gillespie from the State Newspaper, Scott Kiefer from the Greenville News, and Mark Sturgis from ESPN Upstate. Straight Up Sports is about the stories, just like the days gone by with no editors nor managers involved. Check us out on Facebook or Twitter or online at straightupsports.net.
Well, I don't know about you. I'm excited about the Ryder Cup. I've been watching and reading and listening, and I think the players are excited as well. Let's welcome in our player on the professional golf tour, M.J. Ward from up in New York, and on the scene getting ready for action. Tomorrow morning they'll be teeing it off. Welcome in, M.J. How are you?
Phil, it's a pleasure, and I'm just as excited as anybody else to see what's going to happen. It's been a long wait since the matches in Rome, and certainly even longer since the last time they were back in the States, in Wisconsin.
Absolutely. It seems like listening to the press conferences, watching some of the stuff on the course, warm-ups and practice rounds, and anything you can watch, I mean, it seems like the guys are just having a blast, and they're taking a little bit of shots at each other here and there, but it seems like they're really having a good time, and they're ready for some heated competition.
Well, the thing about Ryder Cup play, Phil, is it's sort of like the Mike Tyson line. You know, all the strategy in the world goes out with the first punch. So when the matches start, all of that you've seen before, this is my 13th Ryder Cup, and I can tell you that there is no pressure like a Ryder Cup match. I mean, anybody who's ever played in it will say so. So it'll be interesting to see, how the emotions of the preliminaries, people, how they feel, what they're doing. But, I can never forget when Brooks Koepka said this when he first appeared at Hazeltine, 9 years ago, and he almost could not get the tee in the ground, literally. I mean, that's how the nerves are. So it'll be interesting to see, what players are able to respond. It all comes down to, Phil, you have to be able to execute. One thing about match play, Phil, the most important thing to remember is match play is about the moment that you are in at that particular time. It's not a stroke play situation where you can kind of take the ebb and the flow and know that you got 72 holes. In match play, you have to step up when it's called upon. And there are certain guys that can do that, and there are certain guys, unfortunately, who can't do that. And I think you're going to see that once again play out at Bethpage, whether it's on the American side or the European side.
All right, let me give you the lineup that they announced this afternoon for the foursomes beginning at 7:10 in the morning. Match 1 will be DeChambeau and Thomas against Rahm and Hatton. Match 2 will be Scheffler and Henley versus Oberg and Fitzpatrick. Match 3 will be Morikawa and English against McIlroy and Fleetwood. Match 4, Schauffele and Cantlay against McIntyre and Hovland. Can you handicap those 4 matches?
Well, I have to tell you, Phil, match number 1, there is probably more testosterone with those 4 guys than you could shake a stick at. And I think it's going to be interesting to see. It's all likelihood Bryson, because it's foursomes, Bryson will probably tee off on the odd holes and Thomas will do it on the even holes. So it'll be interesting to see what Bryson does on that first tee shot, trying to cut the corner, try to get as close to the green as possible. Each of these guys, Phil, is, they wear their emotions on their sleeve, all four of them. So it'll be interesting to see. I think it's really imperative for the Americans to get the win, because they got blanked 4-0 in the foursomes in Rome, and that just basically set the tone. So I don't say that one match is going to win you the Ryder Cup, but I think it's important for them to come out and play with some fire. It'll be interesting to see how raucous the fan base is. I mean, right now, Phil, so far the fans that have been at the Ryder Cup, you wouldn't know if it wasn't, being played in Long Island or Texas or some other place in America. But it'll be interesting to see tomorrow when they arrive at the first tee. I give DeChambeau and Thomas the slightest of edges. Rahm and Hatton are a formidable team, and Luke Donald has put them there for that reason. Going through the matches real quick, I think Scheffler and Henley have the edge over Ludwig and Matt Fitzpatrick. For whatever reason, Matt Fitzpatrick has not really played well at a Ryder Cup. He's 1-7 overall. Scheffler did not get a win the last time they were in Paris. This is Henley's first time playing in the Ryder Cup. I think it's a really good pairing because Henley is a really good ball striker, and obviously when you have the world's best, I think Scheffler's got something to show because he didn't really have that much. He didn't have anything really in Rome. I look for them to win the match. It would be, I wouldn't say a major upset, but it would be an upset if the Europeans claim this. In the third match, Morikawa and English versus Euros, probably their second top team after Rahm and Hatton. McIlroy and Fleetwood, they were really invincible in Rome. Morikawa had a really lackluster season on the PGA Tour. It wasn't. I was somewhat surprised that Bradley went with him. In this particular situation, but I would say right now, with McIlroy coming out of the gate, he needs to show something. Phil, this is his 8th Ryder Cup. He said early on in the season that winning in New York would be one of his goals for the season. I think that they have the edge here, so I would chalk up the Europeans on that. The last match is an interesting one because you have a pairing that the USA has been going with for some time now with Xander and Patrick Cantlay. In Wisconsin, back in 21, they were formidable. In Rome, it was less so. McIntyre has really surprised the golf world, Phil. He has really elevated his game. He is a real deal competitor. Hovland had a, so-so year. He didn't play great. He didn't play poorly. It's just that he didn't maintain it on a consistent level. This match, to me, is almost a dead-even draw. I would not be surprised if the match ended in a tie. If I had to venture a guess and say you have to pick a winner, I'll say Schauffele and Cantlay, but I would not bet against the Europeans. So in summary, Phil, coming out of the morning session, I see the USA having the slightest of edges, but the edge would be on their side. But keep in mind, Phil, Chambeau and Thomas against Rahm and Hatton, that is the marquee matchup. You want to talk about emotion. And, it wouldn't surprise me, man, that these guys show that in a lot of different ways when they play tomorrow. I mean, you're talking about some real personalities in that first match. Interesting that 3 of the 4 players in that first match, Phil, are from the LIV Tour. So, in some ways, now that we're playing in this particular format with foursomes, it'll be interesting to see how DeChambeau and Thomas gel together, given the stakes that are involved.
MJ Ward with us a few more moments as we get ready for the Ryder Cup matches starting tomorrow. And MJ, we all know about Bethpage Black. If you follow golf, you know about the sign at the number 1 tee that says, if you're not any good, stay away from this golf course. The setup itself, are you impressed with it? Does it favor I would assume Keegan Bradley set it up to favor the U.S. team. Did he accomplish that goal?
Well, we had rain showers today, so the golf course is going to play a little slower. The greens at the Black are really not as formidable as you would see at Augusta National or Oakland Hills or Oakmont. Some of the holes have been shortened because of the grandstands. The first hole is a classic example of that. It's going to play probably about 40 yards shorter, therefore the green becomes a possibility. They also shorten some other holes because of the grandstands. The 15th, which is the most difficult of holes on the black, it plays to a highly elevated green. That's going to play about 30 yards shorter. The 17th, the penultimate par 3, that's also going to play shorter. The rough that's going to be involved here for the Ryder Cup is not going to be as dense and deep as it was for the 02 and 09 U.S. Opens. Even the 19 PGA, that rough was pretty thick and everything. I don't see it really being a super edge to the American side or the European side. I just think that in the case of the black, you've got to hit the golf shots. You've got to be able to play. You get out of position, it's going to be really tough. There are many birdie opportunities here, particularly among the first 4 holes. So when we get into 4-ball matches in the afternoon on Friday and Saturday, the team that can get out of the gate fast in the 4-ball matches on the first 4 holes, they're going to have an edge the rest of the day. But, like I said, there's a lot of different situations that can happen at the black. Just one other quick note beyond the golf course condition. Weather conditions should be okay for the rest of the week. They're expecting clouds to break, and we'll have some afternoon sunshine, and then the rest of the weekend looks pretty good.
That's awesome. Going to be a rowdy setting. Bring all your friends and have it'll be like a football setting there, I'm sure, with those.
Well, I'll tell you, Phil, right now the best of the Yankee fans, Ranger fans, Knicks fans, they are all headed to Bethpage. And all I can tell you is I hope that it's okay for people to get emotionally involved. I just hope that God willing, there's no security issues or people have to be ejected. But make no mistake about it, security will be high. They're expecting President Trump to be at the matches at some point tomorrow.
We got to run, MJ. Great stuff. Talk to you tomorrow. Be right back.
On Point Weather on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. We are cloudy with a 40% chance of some overnight rain. Look for a low dipping down to 70. Tomorrow, a bit cooler with a high of 84, a 60% chance we get on and off showers throughout the day and into the evening. For Saturday, well, it's very similar. A high of 81 to go with those on and off showers again. And for Sunday, a bit nicer, a blend of sunshine, probably more clouds, and the high is 82. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
What's better than getting the best Wagyu and Hereford beef anywhere in these parts and getting it delivered to your door? How about knowing you're still supporting local farmers in Saluda over at H&J Cattle, where tradition meets quality? Visit HandJCattle.com. Place your order for $50 or more, get free delivery in Richland or Lexington County. Plus, Point listeners get 10% off your order. Enter keyword The Point as one word for your discount. HandJCattle.com.
The Point.
Administration. This is an SRN News special report. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. James Comey was charged Thursday with making a false statement and obstruction in a criminal case filed days after President Trump appeared to urge his Attorney General Pam Bondi to prosecute the former FBI director. The indictment makes Comey the first former senior government official to face prosecution in connection with one of Trump's chief grievances, the long-concluded investigation into Russian interference in the 2016 election. Trump and his supporters have long derided that investigation as a hoax and a witch hunt. Comey was fired months into Trump's first administration and has long been a top target for Trump supporters seeking retribution. Comey was singled out by name in a Saturday social media post. More at srnnews.com.
Nobody plans for a plumbing problem. They come unannounced and usually at a very inconvenient time. Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning is your trusted ally. They recognize just how vulnerable a customer is at this time, and they want to help. They have well-trained plumbers who are there to make a difference when you need it most. I've experienced this. They're knowledgeable about their craft. They're not coming to your house to pitch new products. If something is broken, they'll give you a price to fix it if it's possible, or a price to replace it if necessary. Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning is also locally owned owned and operated, or I simply wouldn't endorse them. Josh and his team prioritize customer service above everything else. They handle every issue with care and precision. Those are not just words. I've had Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning out to my home. They back up those words with their actions. If you have a crisis, get some peace of mind. Online, you find them at franklinplumbing.sc.com or you call 799-2222. That's 799-2222. I'm absolutely positive they will make whatever is wrong right again. Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning.
Wake up with a smile every morning. It's Mornings with Casey and Kev, your dynamic duo bringing you laughter, news, and the perfect start to your day. Join the fun weekdays at 7 a.m. Mornings with Casey and Kev, a delightful way to start your day.
Step into summer with no unwanted guests in your home.
At Modern Exterminating Company, we're not just experts in pest control, we're your neighbors.
Glenn and Melanie Matthews here. Modern Exterminating has been part of this community since 1955, offering unmatched experience with the family touch.
Trust us to keep your home pest-free with care and dedication that only a local family-owned business can provide.
Experience the Modern Exterminating difference. Call us at 765-2315 or visit pestfreesc.com.
Let us keep your home truly yours.
This fall, discover a place where friendly faces greet you at the door. McCoy's Hardware of Lexington. Greg Lynette and their welcoming team make every visit a breeze with expert advice and genuine hometown care. No more endless aisles or big box blues. Just quality products and people who want to know your name. For every project, big or small, find what you need and a neighborly smile at 2028 Augusta Highway. Shop local. Shop happy. McCoy's Hardware of Lexington.
This is Fran Halloran, the Money Coach. Grow with the point as we build on 10 incredible years of community local radio. We built an environment where our listeners are our family. Are you a small business with big dreams? Join the tremendous stable of advertising partners at The Point. Connect with Kevin Cohen and brainstorm a tailored strategy to escalate your business growth using the powerful platform of The Point. Call Kev directly at 563-8558. Teaming with The Point, you can make the next year your best year.
Hello, this is Stacy Huff, host of Huff Nation Sports Zone, each and every Saturday, 10 to 11 a.m. right here on 100.7 FM, The Point, and also 1470 a.m. It'll be a fun trip around the world of sports. Huff Nation Sports Zone, check it out.
It's the M&M Boys on Sports Talk with former Clemson offensive lineman Will Merritt and former South Carolina linebacker Corey Miller on the Sports Talk Media Network.
Rolling on a big Thursday night here on Sports Talk across the state of South Carolina. Sports Talk Media Network. Time now for a visit with the M&M Boys here on Sports Talk. We got one of the M's. Hopefully the other M will be making his way to us shortly. We welcome in former Clemson All-ACC. That's right, I said it, All-ACC, two-time All-ACC offensive lineman Will Merritt to Sports Talk to talk about all things Clemson, and we hope that Corey Miller will be jumping on board here shortly. Will, welcome in. Great to have you with us.
Yes, sir. I hope you guys are having a wonderful week.
Wonderful. Better than being a Clemson fan, I'd say.
I was about to say, I said, I hope you're having a wonderful week. I didn't say I was. No, let me go in to identify a couple of things real quick out of the chute. There is no doubt that the product on the field has been just absolutely suspect at best.
Mm-hmm.
Do I think that there is an opportunity going into an open date and an open weekend for them to regroup and rally the troops? And, there's going to be plenty of rah-rah from the coaching staff. But at the end of the day, Phil, I got to just be honest with you, they still got to go out and make plays. So when they get up to North Carolina and they get up to Chapel Hill, it doesn't matter what they have done in their 2 weeks of preparation of saying, hey, let's let's circle the wagon, so to speak, and let's all come together. They still got to go make plays, and that's the problem that we're seeing right now. The best players on the team, the guys that got the most accolades going into the year, the guys that are getting the money, are also the ones that are not making plays, and they're getting pushed around. And you can identify it and slice it so many different ways. I don't think there's just one problem. And that's my biggest fear.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that there's just one issue to correct. I think there's a litany of things that they have to correct if they're going to right the ship this year.
Well, you're exactly right with everything you're saying, and people are certainly piling on Dabo Swinney again, very similar to last year when they got off to a slow start, and everybody was saying Swinney is letting the game pass him by. You know, people are so obviously up and down with their emotions. It's based on what's happening that particular day. So they got off to the bad start last year. Well,
he's an easy target.
But they got off to the bad start.
He's the head coach,
yeah.
And B, he says exactly what he's thinking, and C, he gives you tons of fodder. So you got so many opinionated people out there, he becomes an absolute bullseye to be the guy that everybody wants to blame. I think that's comical at times, but at the same time, that's why he is the head coach, and that's why he's been the head coach.
Yeah, and again, people who think that a guy like Dabo Swinney is influenced by what they're writing on social media or saying on talk shows or saying on television, you're fooling yourself. I mean, he's not going to be influenced with his decision-making whatsoever by anything he hears. Any head coach worth his salt is going to be like that. You can't be making decisions based off of public opinion. You got to make decisions based on what you think is best. So it's very similar. And, of course, they rebounded last year and made a run and made it to the playoffs. That's not going to happen as far as the postseason is concerned. But there is still a chance there, I think, for Clemson to turn it around. This team has too much talent. And I don't know who it is or what it is that's going to light that fire, but it's going to happen. I think it's going to happen. They're going to go to one of their favorite places, Chapel Hill, and take on a bad North Carolina team with a very famous coach and a very beautiful girlfriend, and they're going to try and take it out on North Carolina and make it ugly and sort of turn it around in Chapel Hill and kind of get their macho back, which I think they will, and then have a chance moving on down the road to play a Florida State. Well, that would be in November at home, but SMU at home. A couple of teams having playoff-type years, that will be like Clemson's playoffs. They'll look at Florida State and SMU like their playoff games and see if they're good enough to beat those teams at home. And if they're able to accomplish that, they might come to Columbia, sitting on like 8 wins and a chance to get back to 9 wins. I mean, they got to come a long way to do that, but I do think that's possible.
I do. I think it's very possible. But let me just kind of, reiterate what you're saying there. Clemson is finding themselves in a situation that a lot of other teams have found themselves over the last decade, that they give Clemson their best shot because that is their playoff game. That is their bowl game. That is their season, all in one game. Well, now Clemson's finding themselves in a situation where now they're going to have to go play other teams and say, hey, look, this can be a marquee win. This can be an opportunity. But we've got a long, long way to go before we get to that point, before I think we're going to be competitive. Now, if you look at from the whole scheme of things, you had a chance to beat LSU at the end of the game. You didn't do it, right? You just didn't do it. You lose to Georgia Tech, by a field goal. You still lost the game. You still could right the ship as of this past Saturday with Syracuse. Now, that was one of the most odd games I've ever been to, with the lightning delays, and they played for 5 minutes, and then we sat around on our hands for 3.5 hours with no football. So it was a very, very unusual game. At the same time, you had every opportunity to come out of the locker room in the second half, and you didn't do it. So I'm saying all these opportunities that you say, oh, man, you could have done this, could have done that. You didn't. That's the problem. And so that's why you sit where you are with the uphill battle.
All right, let's welcome in now the other part of the M&M Boys here on Sports Talk on Thursday night. He is former Gamecock standout defensive end / linebacker, former NFL defensive end linebacker, a man who knows a thing or two about hitting somebody in the mouth. It's Corey Miller.
Bust him in the mouth.
Bust him in the mouth.
What's up?
Good to have you, Pastor of Pain. All right, let's shift gears to the Gamecocks, sitting there 2-2 with a winnable game coming up against Kentucky. Your evaluation of things coming off last week at Missouri.
Well, it was a tough one. It was a tough ball game. I was excited that the passing game looked like it took some steps forward. Lenore Sellers played, I thought, pretty good for the most part, and I had a couple of bad reads, a couple of bad throws that could have been picked off, but it didn't happen, so it doesn't matter. But the problem that concerns me, two things. One, the lack of running game. You can't have -9 yards running the football. When you go on the road, you got to pack defense, you got to pack running game. That's a must. South Carolina didn't have either in that ball game. Didn't run for -9 yards. Then you give up 275, 89, whatever the total was in rushing. And the tackling, that's the third point, was atrocious. It was really, I've never seen a Clayton White defense tackle so bad. And I know Shane was saying that, guys kind of stopped, and then that did happen a couple of times. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, just the urgency. Tackling is about attitude. It's about getting there with bad intentions. And I just didn't see that. I saw guys pull up and standing around, looking at, and then this running back breaks out, and he's going for 15, 20 more yards. Mm-hmm. I mean, those types of things, to me, is on the players. That's not on the coaches. They were in position to get guys on the ground, but didn't wrap up. And I know this running back, listen, you got to give him credit. But at the same time, that's not your typical South Carolina defense from what I've grown accustomed to seeing. So I don't know. I mean, you look at this team, and, you look at Vanderbilt and Missouri and where they have grown to become in the SEC. You said those were winnable games, and then you just said Kentucky is a winnable game. But, yeah, it's winnable, but it's also losable, if that's a word. So I don't think anybody can say right now that, can South Carolina win these games? Yes. But can they lose them? 100%. And so they got to get better, and they got to get better quick, fast, and in a hurry. I know they got this game this weekend, and they get a bye week, maybe get some guys healthy, kind of, self-evaluate the things that you need to do during a bye week. But, man, it is just absolutely I don't know. There was so much expectation. I mean, every time I go out in public, people ask me, what's wrong? And I can't tell them what's wrong. I'm not there every day. But those are the things that I see. Tackling is bad, not getting off the field on third down, not being able to run the football with any type of consistency. The offensive line still showing that they're struggling really bad. Wide receivers have stepped up. We had guys come out the woodwork, so to speak. That's good news. Quarterback, the North, playing good football. That's good news. But, man, they got a lot of areas that need to be fixed, Phil. And if they don't fix them in a hurry, it could be a really bad football season here in South Carolina, in Columbia.
Would you be in favor, especially considering what Kentucky has done this year? Their defense has been really bad against the pass. Would you think the coaching staff's looking at that, looking at their own team and their strengths and where they can best move the ball and just turn it loose through the air with Sellers and let him throw it 40 times if necessary? Let that be the focus of your offense, the passing game?
Well, I mean, if you can't run the football, what choice do you have? I mean, I wouldn't be the one if I was a coach. No, I want to be balanced. I want to be able to run the football. I want to be able to control the clock, rest my defense. I want to be able to dictate the football game. And, some games, yeah, you have to win that way. Some games that you're just not going to have it on the ground, you got to get into a shootout. And they've shown that they could do that. But you don't want that to be your MO. I mean, especially the way this offensive line is protecting and playing. I mean, it's just – I wouldn't feel comfortable right now with South Carolina having to do that. I mean, I think their mantra has been running the football with consistency, keeping it third manageable, getting the first down, giving Lenore's run-pass options, and playing good defense behind that, punting the football extremely nice, playing great special teams. That's the way South Carolina needs to play and win. And if they got to throw it 40 times, I would just probably say that they're not going to have a winning season. I just don't see them winning playing that type of football.
All right.
M&M boys here tonight on Sports Talk. Will Merritt and Corey Miller with us. And Will, back to the Tigers for a moment. And he's going to gain criticism and
that'll be determined by the end of the year after a full season is under his belt. I do think that the expectations on Cade were so high going into the year that I don't think there was ever any way he was going to live up to that. Now, not living up to that and making very poor decisions, sometimes I don't think that it's all him, though. Sometimes I think schematically they've put him in a situation where he's been very difficult. Corey talked about the O-line for South Carolina. Well, I mean, Cade's being flushed out of the pocket every play. Every single play he's being flushed out. So he's on the run making all of his throws. He's not sitting in a solid pocket. He's not able to have field vision. He's not able to look at multiple options. He's on the run with one, maybe two options after he gets out of the pocket. So that starts up front with our guys. So I think that just like I talked about Dabo at the very beginning about how he's an easy target because of his personality, the quarterback is an easy target too, guys. I mean, if the quarterback doesn't play well and the team loses, then it's always the quarterback's fault. Okay, period. So I'm not ready to cast this thing aside and say, oh my gosh, he's regressed to the point that we can't win with him.
You talked about some of the other guys that need to step up. Does that not just start with the wide receiving core, but also at the running back position, and especially considering that you've had to try and take a wide receiver and turn him into a running back?
Well, first of all, I mean, he's playing out of position, and yet but if he doesn't have options to be able to have cutback lanes, and if he doesn't have a push up front, which we have not had yet this season, I don't care if you've got Walter Payton back there. It's going to be difficult for him to just chew up a bunch of yards if there's nowhere to go. And I think that's what we've seen. If you really study the game about what we're doing offensively right now, on either side, left or right side, we're not getting any push at all. And then I think defenses are scheming very well against us. And unfortunately, I mean, you can call these players by name. You can call the Cades and the Randalls and the Westcos and the T.J. Moores you can call them by name because Antonio Williams, because we were expecting to call their name in adoration. Okay, and now we're having to call their name in desperation, and that's a problem.
I say,
I like that.
I like
really
that.
like
That's
that.
That
good.
was really good, bro. I mean, I got to give him an A+ on that one.
That's good. Corey, last thing before we get to the rivalry meter reading for this week. So, I mean, this is South Carolina's got to beat Kentucky. They got to beat Kentucky because they're looking at an unbelievable October in terms of strength of schedule. I don't know if anybody in the country faces what they face. So did you think it would come? There was no way you thought going into this season they'd be facing this kind of situation, did you, that they might be looking dead at a losing season if they don't fix some things? Could this team be looking at a 4-8 or a 5-7?
Yes. Realistically, yes. I mean, I don't think it's going to happen because I think they have what it takes to turn it around. I'm going to continue to believe in Shane Beamer and his coaching staff and these players. But could that easily be 4-8, 100%. I did not expect them to lose at Missouri. I did not expect them to lose at home against Vanderbilt in the first SEC game. I don't expect them to lose against Kentucky. I was sitting here thinking that they had the chance to be sitting here undefeated right now. And then you got 5 wins. Now you go into that buzzsaw of a schedule. You know, you hoping to steal 3 or 4 of them and have a nice season, right? That's what you hope for. But now with those early losses, you're like, man, we might be fighting just to make a bowl game. And so, I didn't expect it. The fan base didn't expect it. The country didn't expect it. They thought this team, with Lenore Sellers and, would be, a top 10 team. But again, they are young. And I think people kind of just gloss over that. I mean, all those players on defense, you lost. They're on NFL rosters. You know, they didn't have wide receivers really proven yet to step up and help Nicholas Harper. You know, the offensive line, I think, if anything, I might be more disappointed with them because these are 5 stars and 4 stars guys that I thought would be much more, better, much more proven, much more disciplined, much more, just overall footwork, hand placement, toughness, all the things that you want to see from an offensive line, and that haven't been the case. And so, yeah, Phil, this is going to be a tough one. I mean, this is going to be a tough one. So if you're a Gamecock fan, as they say, buckle up because this going to be a tough one. Now, if they get through it, if Shane Beamer gets through this with 7-8 wins, man, he might deserve Coach of the Year because these games they got coming up out of Kentucky, it is going to be a buzzsaw.
Yeah.
Just believe that.
All right, real quick, both of you, because my time is short. I got to get the rivalry meter reading tonight. I know
my
you both.
answer is short. Don't even ask me. Mm-hmm. My answer is short.
Okay, go ahead.
Draw.
Draw.
It's a draw. Ain't it? Draw. I hope it's just a draw. Tie game. That's what both of them deserve.
I know you're humble. You're both humbled. What you got, Will?
Yeah, I'm going to say it's a baseball score, just like Gordon said. I mean, 3-2, 2-0. Who knows what it's going to be? But I don't even want to make a prediction because I think that anything that I say right now could definitely come back to bite me in the butt.
Guys, we appreciate you.
I think we need to combine both these teams. And I don't know. If we combine the teams in the state of South Carolina, maybe we can get a top 20 team. Yeah. Maybe. I don't know.
Just become Blue Hose fans. The 4-0 Fighting Blue Hose of Presbyterian.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I'm with that. I'm with the Blue Hose.
There you go. Yep. Or the Benedict Tigers. They're 3-0. Guys, we thank you.
I'm that too.
We thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you. Have a great weekend.
Yes,
Good
sir.
luck to your team, Corey, and enjoy your weekend off, Will. Talk to you next week. Be back in a moment.
Are you in the market for an auto loan? Move now. Get an auto loan from Founders Federal Credit Union now through October 31st, and you'll be entered to win up to $25,000 toward your qualifying auto loan and a $5,000 deposit into your Loyalty Select account. Loyalty Select is our highest yield savings account. Leave it there to grow or transfer it out to spend. And the best part? We'll be choosing monthly winners. So the earlier you get your auto loan, the more chances you have to win. So don't wait. Visit foundersfcu.com/auto to learn more or begin your auto loan application today. Not a Founders member yet? Visit us online or stop by an office to learn more about Founders and see if you qualify for membership. We have the financial tools you'll need and the personalized service you deserve. Relax, you're with Founders. Terms and conditions apply. Membership qualification required.
This is Perry Orth, former South Carolina quarterback. On the field, my job was simple. Read the defense, protect the ball, and give my team the best chance to win. Off the field, at Moultrie Insurance, our job is no different. Help protect your business from the risks that you don't see coming so you can focus on moving the ball forward. Just like a good quarterback, we anticipate challenges, call the right plays, and keep you protected. Trust Moultrie Insurance to cover your blind side and keep your business in the game. Visit MoultrieINS.com today.
This is Larry Leitner, owner and founder of Midstate Roofing, and for nearly 30 years, we've continued to be the proven leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry. Midstate Roofing's proven history is your assurance that our professionals at Midstate Roofing will provide the proper advice, service, and results to the needs of your facility in a manner both safe and pleasing to your operation. From high-rise to hospitals, manufacturing to industrial, Midstate Roofing designs and installs bonded systems with a protective guarantee that will keep your operation dry and running long into the future. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And this is Blake Leitner, reminding you to protect that roof with a maintenance contract. Call me today at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. That's midstateroofing.com.
You'll speak to an on-call technician after hours or a Midstate Roofing staff member during hours at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. And as always, tell them Midstate Twins.
If you have a leak, let Midstate Roofing take a peek.
You've put in the work for your education. The extra early, extra late, extra work. That's because you understand education opens doors to better pay, better opportunities, and a better you. Being educated about playing the lottery is no different. It helps you be a better player, one who knows when to play and when to take a rain check. The lottery's a game, so let's keep it fun. Learn more at sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
The Sports Talk Recruiting Report is sponsored by Seawell's Catering.
All right, let's squeeze in the recruiting report tonight. Doesn't mean it's not important. We'll give you important information in a cut-down fashion. Brought to you by Seawell's. Roast beef Friday tomorrow. Get out to Seawell's and enjoy the daily luncheon buffet. You will not be disappointed. Let Seawell's handle all your catering needs and get ready for those holiday events. You need Seawell's to help bail you out and take the workload off your back. Let them do it. They love to work. 803-771-7385. Online at SeawellsCateringSC.com. Breaking news earlier tonight. Defensive end Dre Quinn decommitted from Clemson. Committed to Clemson in June after taking official visits to Clemson, Georgia Tech, Georgia, and Texas. His decision leaves the Tigers with 21 commitments for the 26 class. And now Steve Wiltfong has issued a projection of Quinn going to Texas. He was at Tennessee last weekend. He's got him going to Texas. 27 defensive end Jaden Bryan of Irmo, offered by Auburn. Greenville High defensive end Franklin Whitley in the 26 class, offered by Alabama. 27 center Brady Hull, Paducah, Kentucky, will be at South Carolina Saturday, as will 27 running back David Segura of Burns. 28 receiver Teru Davis of Somerville. 29 athlete Corey Miller of Irmo. I don't think any relation. 27 linebacker Jabaiah Smith of Sewanee, Georgia, has South Carolina in his top 10. Irmo, offensive tackle, 27. Nate Carson going to Georgia on Saturday for the Alabama game. South Carolina and Clemson target, 27 linebacker Jalathan Mayfield is going to go to Georgia this weekend. 27 defensive end Santana Harvey of Lakeland, Florida, another USC and Clemson target, will be at Georgia Saturday. Clemson and USC target, 27 cornerback Jaden Aparicio Bailey will be at Georgia. South Carolina target, 27 offensive tackle Jordan Abanama of Loganville, Georgia, was offered by Kansas State. That'll do it for tonight. That's it for recruiting and for Sports Talk. Thank you, Bergie.
Yes, sir.
And thank you, Plummer. Have a great night.